Thoughts. My name is Sean with a W, and I'm here with you today in the pouring rain. Actually, I found this beautiful place with this beautiful art that has been put on the ground. It's a flower of chalk. It's actually in a place where yesterday they were celebrating, and I say they, I mean people of perhaps Punjabi faith. They were celebrating one of their festivals in this area, and they actually had the gazebo, I think they're called, all nicely decorated with pillows and carpets and all of this beautiful orange and brown and white stuff. So I definitely appreciate the energy that they have left here with this place. And well, today I'm sharing with you this beautiful, perhaps child or maybe an adult created this nice flower on the ground. And yeah, so thank you for joining and sharing your attention with me. I yeah, today is one of my favorite types of weather. It's rain, and I truly do enjoy standing in the rain. I recognize rain as being a positive and influential force upon the earth after the waters from in between Iraq and Iran, supposedly or quite possibly the Garden of Eden. The waters started to spring again almost 2 years ago. And now I truly believe that this water, this living water source, revived water, now is essentially in the water table all over the planet. So we have many different areas have had immense amount of rain, including my own. And yeah, I'm definitely very grateful for this. So today, I guess perhaps I wanted to be inspired by the pink flowers that are on all of the trees. I definitely love cherry blossoms, and it reminds me often of one of my favorite topics, which is love. And interestingly enough, I had this video the other day explain to me, or perhaps remind me of how I saw love differently and how I've always seen love differently. You see, many people, when they fall in love, they eventually fall out of love. And these loves can be for a night, a week, a year, or a month. And yet, in the past, when I have truly fallen in love, when I could feel that love remained and does remain even up until now. I often remember all of the names of any woman or girl, if I was younger at the time, that I bestowed my love upon. And that love remained constant, even, you know, teenage love connections that I had. They have continued on even now because they make up the loving being that I am. See, my love has always been unconditional. And what I mean by that is it means that if a lover hurts me, yes, of course, I'll perhaps withdraw, especially if I have been betrayed. And yet that love connection still is there, just in a different form and fashion. And that's one thing that I think that a lot of people, when they become hurt, they shield themselves off from that love. They tell themselves they no longer love that person. And yet I feel that for me, at least, once love has been there, love continues and remains permanently. Because for me, love was a an experience, a connection. It wasn't a condition. It wasn't me falling in love as if, I was being afflicted by something that could be later remedied. There was a genuine attraction beyond just the physical, whether it was a smile, an attitude, a question, a personality. Like there's so many different attractive features, but yet they all essentially strengthened that connection, which was already there in the beginning. Perhaps there's the story of reincarnations and past lifetimes, and, the idea of soul fragments or fractals or soul connections or twin flames, all of those ideas that promote that love is beyond this lifetime. And maybe in that case, that's what it is. And that even that love connection between a pet and the pet owner. I don't like that word, but you know what I mean. Like between the caretaker and their pets, that love somehow is very similar to how what I believe true love is. I've done an awful lot of studying into love from reading modern psychology books such as John Gray's Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, where we truly get to see that men and women are different and that we see things different from different perspectives. And that's the way you could say that it was meant to be. Being different means that we're going to see things different, yet it doesn't require us to, you know, compromise ourselves. Like we can still be in relationships and be able to see from different perspectives and yet be in that loving relationship, assuming that we don't mix up relationships or love with ownership. That just because someone loves someone else, it doesn't mean that they need to agree with everything. And it also doesn't mean that they need to compromise who they are and what they believe just to maintain that civility in within a relationship. And I find that that's often what I was essentially being programmed into over the last decade and a half. I began to compromise who I was and the love that I had within me. See, one thing that I love about love is the surprise of love, the surprise of, you know, just surprising someone else. That birthday surprise. It doesn't even have to be a birthday surprise, but that foresight in order to surprise, knowing someone well enough that you would know what surprises them, even if you perhaps didn't like surprises yourself, understanding that the other person sees things from a different perspective. And therefore, if they do like surprises, then you would give that to them. And I myself have always loved surprises, like little notes and such. And see, when I was growing up and I was younger, I had many experiences of what I believe love to be. I believe love to be little love letters and little secrets and surprises and candies here and there. And, you know, there's many a time where all of these little interesting things truly exemplify that aspect of love. And yet, love was also support and compassion and encouragement for others to grow. And so, and then, even with others to grow, part of love is the other side of love when love is in that physical relationship comes to an end. See, all things transition and change. So part of love is also the ability to let go and to let go, even if it ends on a sour note. True love, if that was truly there, in my opinion, anyways, in my experience, of course, remains and continues on, even when that person has left your life. And for me, that's always been the way it is. I often, or I've mentioned in the past, I've loved taking photographs, especially when I'm out with love, taking a picture of my love and her beauty. And, you know, I love photographs overall, as you can definitely see by my YouTube channel. And yet I also love taking photographs, still photographs, and perhaps even moving photographs in the future of experiences with my love. And I would often keep these photos. At one time, before I started releasing my past, I had photos of girlfriends when I was 12 and 13 and 14. Like I kept photos so that I could, you know, remember their faces. And yet now, with an increased memory, I can close my eyes and remember their faces. And yet I've always remembered their names. And it's because no matter what happened or how the relationship ended, some ended in betrayal, some ended in, you know, we're just moving on now, some ended in anger, some ended many different ways. And yet the point being is that love truly never ended. There's wonderful moments that I continue to hold on to because the wonderful moments I have healed through the trauma moments. And that's one important part. This aspect that I speak of is truly based on my ability to forgive and release. And yet, as Tom McDonald said, there are still some people out there that have yet to forgive me for things I've already forgotten. And it's not that I've forgotten them as in a careless, misplaced it. I've released and let go, and I've seen so many different reasons why things would have happened the way they did, as if there was some sort of divine plan. And so with the regards to love, for me, love is eternal. Love is a connection between two individuals. You could even say that love is the well, you could say that love is the feeling of love is God experiencing through us. That when we have that connection of love, like I mean true love, not the love of ownership, not the love of lust, not the love of she's pretty, I want to go and be with her. I mean the love of you could just sit there and listen to that person talk and enjoy what they have to say, and that when it came time for you to talk, that that person was completely aligned and in tuned and really wanted to hear and discuss and talk. See, I think conversation or enjoying an experience, not just the experiments of sex and intimacy, but the experience of just doing whatever it is that you both enjoying is a great expression of love. So having common interests obviously is super important. Common interests that bring you together. So for instance, if it's watching a movie, it's therefore talking about the movie afterwards, like having insights and cognitions, and therefore utilizing that experience of watching a movie to actually bring those insights into the discussion or the conversation between the partners. I unfortunately, at towards the end of my relationship, movies turned into watching a movie in the same room, but after the movie was over, just going to bed. And therefore, that kind of didn't work out. But if we can turn experiences into ways to strengthen relationships, therefore love becomes stronger. And yeah, I really don't know where I'm going with all this. I had someone recently ask me, what did I think love meant? And there's a quote in Paul Seleg's book where and this is a verbatim quote, it's something to do with the idea that when we love the mailman or the male woman as we love our partner, then we're on the right track. And for me, what that means is when we have a feeling of love, like compassion for those people that are in our lives daily, such as a mailman once upon a time used to be in our lives daily. It would be the same mailman coming every day to deliver the mail. And we would often see that person and we'd interact with them if we saw them when they were receiving the mail. And when we're able to see the people in our lives that we definitely the ones that we see on a daily basis, when we can feel a connection to them, a compassion for them, compassion as opposed to sympathy. And when we can feel that connection and we are willing to help them should they require help, when we are able to or willing to love them when they are down, support them when they require support, love them regardless of who and what they are. And I even mean that, and I can go right back to in my city, there was a few times, and not much recently, but where I saw the same homeless people almost every day as I walked back and forth between work and the different tasks that I needed to do in my community, and love them for who they are, not who the movies impress us to think that they are, but to love them for just how they are, because I've seen them on a regular basis. I recognize their faces. I've even sat down and spoke to them, and to have that love for them equal to the love for the feminines that are around me, those ones who attract me, to have a similar type of love of compassion for me is what love truly is. And that's what I believe that we are journeying back towards, that we're journeying back towards this stronger connection and affinity for one another as Homo sapiens, as compassionate beings of love. And that as I've come to understand it, love was something that was tampered with by those who chose to control us. That some time ago, that the current of love, which perhaps is the organic flow of reality, that it was inverted and that it created all of this mess that we find ourselves in hundreds of thousands of years respectively later. And I say that just because, well, we don't really know how old time is really, but it's definitely older than we've been told. And that disconnection from love is essentially another large portion of how others ended up controlling us. That when they stepped away from God and became the fallen angels or the fallen ones or whatever word we want to use, that in a sense, they also disconnected themselves from love. And love seems to be an energy that creates, that empowers, that propels people. I often think about the comparison or perhaps the analogy that when there is one horse, you have one horsepower. When there are two horses, you have four horsepowers because the power between two individuals powered by true love. And once again, I'm not talking about Beauty and the Beast and the Aladdin type of love or any of that. I'm talking about the love like Bambi had for his mother, that the good dinosaur has for his father. I'm talking about that parental, compassionate love. But when those horses are connected with another horse, that love is makes both of them stronger. And I often wonder about even myself. See, I've been challenged to live in this life for the last almost 20 years that was deficient of love, not just in my own personal relationships, but yet I also mean in the my perspective or perception of the world around me. So much critical anger towards homelessness and so much anger towards bad drivers, even in myself, like without thinking or compassionately examining why did this person stop suddenly? Well, oftentimes they stop because there's someone they saw that I didn't see. And yet my first impulse when I was unshielded and unprotected was, of course, to do as everyone else does and to leap into a reaction rather than take the moment to discover why, to be open to loving possibilities. And so it's been quite a while that I have been outside of love. I remember when I was traveling across China, a big part of the reason why I chose the cities that I wanted to visit is because there were women there who I had met online that although I didn't have a relationship with them, that our communications through, well, emails and phone conversations was establishing a connection of love, not the love in of a relationship, but just love in friendship. And I think that that's also fundamentally important is the best friends are those friends that love each other. So women who are best friends is definitely a wonderful thing to even see. I watched this show recently called Shrinking, and it has these women on there that are and were connected through the love of another friend. And these women are the bestest friends of ever. And, you know, they squabble at sometimes, they come back to other times. And yet you can see that even though they are different, different ages, different colors, different experiences within life, that they are connected through a wide varieties of love. And I think that that's a very special thing when people, best friends, can share that love. And I definitely compliment that for people who are able to do that. I've had best friends in my experience, and yet it was a little more challenging for perhaps me to have relationships with men being best friends and such. And, you know, there's, well, anyways, I look forward to that as well. I look forward to expressing and feeling and thriving through love because ask yourself something. If two horses turn into four horsepower, well, then what happens when you have three horses and four horses? And once again, I'm not meaning anything specific. You could, of course, put that into relationships as well. I've mentioned different polygamist style relationships, and they seem to definitely be empowered when you have a show like Big Love, for example. It showed a it also allowed the wives to release or to obtain higher levels, to be more because they had the support within their family, that it wasn't simply just one person having to sacrifice their desired future for the other. Everyone was able to go after their desires because they were working and supporting one another. And yet I still go back to that four horses, because that four now creates the power of 16. And in a community way of living, when love is seen differently, where love is seen as a connection, a beautiful connection between multiple people. And as I said, it doesn't have to be the man woman relationship, it can just be a group of people that are willing to support other people. And when a husband and wife need some time away, that they have a loving connection between other people, that they can then leave their children and they don't necessarily have to sacrifice what it is that they are looking to excel in. So, yeah, I think love is of the utmost importance. I believe that love is what's going to unite us and heal us, and exploration of love, recognizing that you can remove intimacy from love, and love can still hold so much passion and so much vitality that we can perhaps heal ourselves through simply exploring the variations of love and how we love, and give up on that whole idea of the happily ever after and forever type of love things that, they told us, and they essentially programmed us through expectations based around Valentine's Day and marriage and that forever after type of mentality, when in reality, people grow, they converge and they diverge. There's explorations to be had, and then there's conclusions to experience, and that perhaps opening ourselves up to more possibility is what will allow us to thrive within the confines, or more importantly, the experience of true love, unconditional love. And I look forward to sharing and experiencing that far more than I could ever imagine, and that the world perhaps could ever imagine. So, anyways, thank you so much for sharing your time and attention with me. I'm going to head back and walk in this beautiful rain. And I am so grateful for this day. God, thank you for bringing this beautiful rain to me. Thank you for sharing your attention with me if you got this far. And at the end, I'm going to put up a video, one of my funnest creations, about love. It's called The Stranger in Flames or something like that. It's one of my funner creations. Actually, I'll put up two, and I hope that you'll share your attention with both of them. And thank you to the person who put this sun and petals down for me to take an image of while I shared my thoughts with you. Have a wonderful day, and I will definitely love you soon. Have a wonderful day and so much love. I look forward to reading and hearing your comments about love. What do you think love is, and how is it going to affect your life going forward? So much love, kisses, and all that lovely stuff. Bye bye.